Welcome back, colleagues. Now we're going to talk about matter and materials. This knowledge strand is about, as it says, materials. It gets progressively difficult as in any knowledge strand. But the difficulty with this knowledge strand comes when we get to how the substances behave. So for grade 4, as you can see, children are exposed to materials around us and they get to identify them, and of course the teaching is around that. But later on in grade 6, they get to what makes a solid and what makes a liquid. And there's some sort of getting onto the behavior of certain substances, and so that's how it gets a bit difficult. The metals and non-metals in grade 5 are other kinds of material that children generally get confused with. And these are the difficulties generally that children have, and we need to make sure that we explain clearly to them, because one of the difficulties is the very familiarity of learners to the things that we teach about, because they come across these things in their everyday life. But when we teach in the classroom, we're providing a particular perspective that is scientific, and that's the perspective they should get. Without wasting much time there, so these are the topics we have in the ATP for the intermediate phase, as you can see. How we arrived at this is that we increased time for materials around us for the same reasons that I had outlined, and retained solid metals as they are, retained strengthening of materials as well, but reduced time for frame structures. That's in grade 4. In grade 5, materials around us has now been moved back to grade 4. It's been removed from grade 5. And of course, the one topic that's been retained as it is the uses of metals, but otherwise processing of materials and processed materials has time reduced. The increased time is with metals and non-metals. Again, as I indicated, that these are areas where children need more time to actually grasp the concepts that are entailed therein. Because some of these concepts move to other knowledge strands. For instance, with metals and non-metals, you're going to get into the energy and change knowledge strands. So it is important that they actually get a good grasp of these here. And the last grade 6, we increase time with solids, liquids, and gases. Again, here, as you might be aware, later on in the senior phase, learners are expected to understand these states of matter at a microscopic level, and later on at a symbolic level. So it's important that they spend time learning about what solids, liquids, and gases are, at least at a macroscopic level, so that they can understand the behavior and be familiar with behavior of certain substances. Mixtures has been retained as it is. Solutions as special mixtures has been reduced, but dissolving has been retained. Mixtures and water resources reduced time, and also reduced time for processes to purify water. Now let me go back to dissolving. Dissolving has been retained as it is because dissolving actually does need time. We know that we have issues of language with dissolving, and these issues of language interfere with the conceptual understanding of what dissolving actually means, because we know about the confusion between dissolving and melting with children, and we know in African languages when you have melting and dissolving, you actually have one word saying those two things. And in a science classroom, you have to be specific. It is dissolving has a very specific meaning, and so is melting. And so those are some of the issues, colleagues, that we had to deal with in making these kinds of adjustments. Right, we'll get to energy and change, but after the break. Thank you.